After an exciting weekend of college football, I'm joined once again by our college football experts, Julian Council and Preston Willett. And guys, we're going to let you be the college football playoff selection committee. Unfortunately, we don't have the college football playoff until next year, but if the playoffs were to happen this year, who would be your semifinal matchups? Let's hear it.
Okay, Preston, I already know you're not going to like this, but right, my number one seed, obviously Alabama Crimson Tide. This weekend, they proved that they're number one after dominating the second half against LSU and almost killing Zach Mettenberg. I mean, that guy got beat up. And they're going to play the Baylor Bears, who continue their high-octane offense by blowing out Oklahoma. So that's my 1-4 matchup. Then the number two, Florida State has been the other most dominant team in college football. You know, they blew out Clemson, they blew out Miami, and destroyed Wake Forest this past weekend. And then Stanford, yes, I'm putting a one-loss team over Ohio State, who plays nobody. Stanford just beat Oregon. I think with the Pac-12 being high rated in the Big Ten, that they deserve to be in there at the number 3 seed.
Preston?
I'm not even going to talk about that yet. All right, number one, I got Florida State because their big wins over Clemson and Miami outdo anything Alabama's done this whole season. Number 4, I have Stanford, one loss, but they still are the best team out of the Pac-12, which is a very good conference. They beat Oregon, who I still think is just as good as any of these 4 teams. Number 2, I have Alabama. Obviously you got to go Roll Tide somewhere in the top 4. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of them yet. Number 3, I got Ohio State and Braxton Miller. They've been undefeated since last season, Julian. I mean, how can you leave them out? They have the longest winning streak in the country. They have not lost.
So let me ask you, why Ohio State?
Why Ohio State? Because Ohio State, they're undefeated this year, but you're not giving them any respect.
They don't deserve respect.
You're going to put Stanford in there with one loss ahead of them?
Wisconsin and Northwestern, who's lost
So you're telling me that Baylor has
5.
better wins this year?
Baylor just beat Oklahoma. They're going to get to play Texas.
Baylor has
Texas
the 96th strength of schedule in the country.
They're going to play
Julian,
Texas Tech. They're going to play TCU. Ohio State, the next best team they're going to play is going to be either
Julian,
the winner
look
of Nebraska and Michigan State.
Look at the statistics. They have the 96th strength of schedule in the country.
It's the eye test, Preston. It's the eye test. Clearly,
I've seen the light, Julian. I've seen the light. Ohio State, man.
I think after 2 seasons, I think Ohio State actually deserves at least a top 4 spot. At least
they deserve
for this
something.
Year.
Don't give them this crap.
Absolutely.
Teams that didn't make the semifinals, what teams can sneak their way in? Is it that Baylor or that Ohio State?
Obviously, I'm going to go with any one-loss SEC team, being the SEC the highest-rated conference.
The SEC.
The SEC is grown man football, like Georgia Bulldogs showed Missouri last year with that big sign. I'm going to take either Auburn or Missouri. Auburn, if they wins out, beats Alabama.
Did you say Missouri?
Missouri has a chance. If they win out,
said Missouri.
A&M, Ole Miss, and then Alabama or Auburn in the SEC championship game, they deserve to be in the playoff or the national championship game.
I'm only going to agree with Auburn because that's the only team that has a shot because they still have to play Alabama. If they beat Alabama, obviously they should be in the top 4.
Missouri
but Oregon,
only
man, they just lost 1 game. Oregon only lost 1 game and they barely lost to Stanford.
Oh, they look terrible though.
Yeah.
Who did Missouri lose to, Julian? Who did Missouri
lose to? South Carolina.
Exactly. South Carolina is not good.
Both those losses are not bad, but honestly, I just wish there was a college football playoff. This argument just makes it so exciting, and unfortunately, it's happening next year. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this block. But coming up, Jake will join me back at the desk to discuss the demolition of a fairly new ballpark. Stay tuned.